A man was driving along a freeway when he noticed a chicken running alongside his car. He was amazed to see the chicken keeping up with him because he was doing 50 miles per hour. He accelerated to 60 miles and the chicken stayed right next to him. He speeded up to 75 miles per hour and the chicken passed him up. The man noticed the chicken had 3 legs. So he followed the chicken down a road and ended up at a farm. He got out of his car and saw that all the chickens had 3 legs. He asked the farmer, "What's up with these chickens?" The farmer said, "Well, everybody likes chicken legs. I bred a 3-legged bird. I'm going to be millionaire." The man asked him how they tasted. The farmer said, "Don't know. Haven't caught one yet." 20 men die and go to heaven. When they arrive, they are told to separate into 2 lines. One for all the husbands that are under the wives' control and the other for those that control their wives. After the men separate, one of the angels notices that there are 19 men in the first line and only 1 in the second. The angel walks up to the man and asks why he was so sure of his independence. "That's easy," said the fellow. "My wife told me to stand here." Little Johnny comes home from school with a note from his teacher indicating that Johnny seems to be having some difficulty with the difference between boys and girls, and would his mother please sit down and have a talk with Johnny about this. So Johnny's mother takes him quietly by the hand upstairs to her bedroom and closes the door. "First, Johnny, I want you to take off my blouse." So he unbuttoned her blouse and takes it off. "Okay, now take my skirt," and he takes off her skirt. "Now take off my bra," which he does. "And now, Johnny, please take off my panties." And when Johnny finishes removing those, she says, "Johnny, please don't wear any of my clothes to school anymore." What is green and can jump a mile in a minute? A grasshopper with hiccups. A pickpocket was up in court for a series of petty crimes. The judge said, "Mr. Banks, you are hereby fined $100. The lawyer stood up and said, "Thanks, my lord. However, my client only has $75 on him at this time. But if you'd allowed him a few minutes in the crowd..." A guy phones a law firm and says, "I want to speak to my lawyer." The receptionist says, "I'm sorry, but your lawyer died last week." The next day, the same guy phones the law firm and says, "I want to speak to my lawyer." Once again, the receptionist replies, "I'm sorry, but your lawyer died last week." The next day, the guy makes his regular call to the law firm and says, "I want to speak to my lawyer." "Excuse me, sir," the receptionist says, "but this is the 3rd time I've had to tell you that your lawyer died last week. Why do you keep calling?" The guy replies, "Because I love hearing it." Christmas always sucked when I was a kid because I believed in Santa Claus. Unfortunately, so did my parents, so I never got anything. The scene is the darkest jungle in Africa. 2 tigers are stalking through the jungle when the one in the rear suddenly reaches out with his tongue and licks the butt of the one in front. The lead tiger turns and says, "Hey, cut it out." The other tiger says sorry and then continue on their way. After about 5 minutes, the rear tiger suddenly repeats his action. The front tiger turns angrily and says, "I said don't do that again." The rear tiger says sorry and they continued. After about another 5 minutes, the rear tiger repeated his action. The front tiger turns and says, "What is it with you anyway? I said to stop." The rear tiger says, "I really am sorry, but I just ate a lawyer and I'm just trying to get the taste out of my mouth." Down through the valley they went, across a river and into a forest full of trees. Finally, he slowed down and all the other bats excitedly milled around him. "Now, do you see that tree over there?" he asked. "Yes, yes, yes," the bats all screamed in a frenzy. "Good," said the bat. "I sure as hell I didn't."